DBL Nation, and welcome to the Break Room. I'm Kelly, and this is
Brandon London. Just in case you guys forgot.
Just
What's
in
going on,
case.
DBL Break Room?
It's Monday,
Whew.
and it's President's Day.
Ooh, yes, it is.
Are you guys working today? Let us
No,
know.
we're the only ones
here.
working today.
Yeah, we're the only
Yeah.
ones working, and there's a snowstorm outside, so it was fine getting to work. Some people are having some issues this morning, but we made it. We're all safe here, so that's good news.
Yep.
Let us know what you're doing today if you do have the day off. Are you getting some laundry done? Are you chilling, or are you just taking a break with us?
Hanging out with the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Are
else
you
is there
stuck
to
with
do?
the kids today?
What else is there to do on a Monday?
Not much, but you could go sledding if you're in Denver or somewhere with snow. You could do something fun like that at least, you know?
Or you can catch up on True Detective on HBO.
What is True Detective?
True Detective. They're on season 3 with Mahershala Ali.
Oh.
I haven't watched season 1 or 2, but I checked it out season 3. You don't need to, though.
Oh,
That's the
okay,
thing.
okay. So it's one you can
of
just
those
jump
type of
into. I do
things.
like those kind of shows
Absolutely
where you can
love
just jump
the
in.
show.
Cool. Well,
Absolutely.
speaking of True Detective, I guess I don't really know how I'm connecting
Yeah,
that.
let
I'm
me
not
see.
connecting
I
that
wanna
at
see
all.
how you do this.
I
I'm
was gonna
interested in
try,
this.
and I couldn't make it happen in my brain because it's Monday. So we're gonna cover the top story for you right now,
Okay.
real quick. There are protests across the country today in response to President Trump declaring a national emergency on Friday. They're planned across the nation. You can find them on moveon.org if you're looking to rally, or rallylist.com. So they're opposing, obviously, the national emergency that's freeing up billions so he can
Yep.
get the border wall that he wants. So Congress is divided, obviously.
Yep.
The issue is this really an emergency? So DBL Nation, let us know what you think. A lot of people are saying, no, this does not constitute an emergency. And a lot of people are saying, yes, it does. It's a crisis at the border wall. We need that wall.
Yeah, and I think,
of the border.
and like you're saying, it's split right now, and I don't think it's something that we're going to come together on. I don't see this being a bipartisan a thing where that money is actually allocated and given to him. We're going to have to go to the courts.
Yep.
As you can see, many states have jumped in on the lawsuit to challenge this. But this is something that's going to drag on throughout his entire presidency.
I totally
agree
with
I hope
you.
people aren't looking for some sort of quick fix. We're going to be talking about this for a long time.
We are.
And we have states like New Mexico, Oregon, Minnesota, New Jersey, Hawaii, Connecticut, and California joined that lawsuit this morning.
Yep, he said it was going to be imminent, and there it goes. So yeah, this is what's happening, DBL Nation. So we're going to continue to track this story for you, but we obviously want to know what you think. We know we talked about this as our 5th host on Friday, but now you've had the weekend to kind of let it sink in a little bit. We want to know what you think. Do you think this constitutes an emergency? Do you think there's a crisis at the border, that we need that border wall? Or do you think he went overboard by doing this? Again, a lot of states suing, so we'll keep tracking that, and we're just going to have to see what happens.
Both sides have doubled down.
Yeah, and that's going to keep happening. So, we're just going to keep tracking that for you, DBL Nation. Another thing we're talking about today with the president, him and Alec Baldwin are going back and forth a little bit this morning. So, as you know, DBL Nation, if you ever watch Saturday Night Live, Alec Baldwin does play the president, and he plays him well.
Does a great job.
Yeah, he does a really great job. So he appeared on Saturday Night Live, obviously on Saturday, to talk about how President Trump declared a national emergency, and he played President Trump. Well, Leo, if we can pull this tweet up, the president tweeted, quote, "Nothing DC. Question is, how do the networks get away with these total Republican hit jobs without retribution? Likewise, for many other shows, very unfair and should be looked into. This is the real collusion." He tweeted shortly after that, the rigged and corrupt media is the enemy of the people. So Leo's going to bring up another tweet. Alec Baldwin fired back last night saying, "I wonder if a sitting president exhorting his followers that my role in a TB comedy qualifies me as an enemy of the people constitutes a threat to the safety of me and my family." So what do you think? And DBL Nation, obviously, please start sending us your comments.
Because everything, it seems like a lot is protected by the First Amendment, the freedom of speech.
Yeah.
We've had satire for years. This even goes back to medieval times where they used to have plays where they used to make fun of kings. They used to make fun of queens and different households and families. So this goes back for a long time. The thing is, that's different between that time and now is back then the king could come by, just cut your head off for having some sort of satire against him. Now, fortunately, in 2019, we are protected by First Amendment right. I think that when he tweets something out, when President Trump tweets something out and he puts retribution, that word itself can be taken in a million different ways by both sides of the fence. I mean, he's tweeted stuff before saying something was the enemy of the state. And we saw the shooting in Maryland.
The journalist
there's
in
some,
a newsroom.
Some weirdos out there. But at the same time, I see SNL double down on this, and they're not going to go anywhere because they need that. They need that Trump impersonation.
I mean, if that's the news that's happening,
and
they have to cover it.
And if you got the president tweeting about it, that's that's the best type of advertisement you can think of.
That's true. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it that way. That's a really good point. Let's read some comments from DBL Nation. Let's see. Danny Robinson says, freedom of speech for all. Our president has made absolutely zero calls to arms. He has not lashed out and requested anyone cause physical harm to anyone, and therefore no crime or injustice has happened. That's a good point.
No.
Melissa Stone on Facebook, SNL mocks every president. You're not special. The rest just had more of a sense of humor about it. Good point, Melissa. John Redent, sorry, I hope I said that right, John. By the way, for the record, I thought Phil Hartman did a pretty brutal job on Reagan and still made that pretty funny, as did Will Ferrell with W. I never recalled any backlash from that. So yeah, I guess that's the question, DBL Nation. Why now? Why are we seeing backlash? There's been presidents for years that have been, if you want to call it, even mocked. I don't even think that's the word for it.
I think something between those two go back.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some sort of beef between them two that, I mean,
obviously
I
the
need to do
NBC
more.
stuff and
the
him
NBC
calling them
stuff,
fake news all the time.
But there's some sort of personal vendetta between those two, because I guarantee Alec Baldwin still does it, even though he feels as though at this point is there
you mean a personal vendetta between Alec and I see what you mean.
Vendetta that goes back before his presidency, that goes back for a long time. So if Alec Baldwin still comes out and does Donald Trump impersonations, it's either he doesn't think that it isn't a huge, that big of a threat against him and his family, or at the same time, it's something against him where
that's a good point. Was he on The Apprentice? Does anyone know if he was ever? I doubt it. I think he's too big of a celebrity probably to have been on The Apprentice. But DBL Nation, what do you think? Do you think the president's overreacting? Do you think Alec Baldwin is overreacting by calling this a threat? Do you think he's...
He has to. Because if something happens, remember, he put that tweet out. He prophesized that something could happen to him or his family. So he has to put that tweet out there right now.
And then MJ Matthews, this is a good one that a lot of people are talking about if you want to read that one, Brandon.
MJ Matthews says, oh, please, Alec Baldwin causes his own drama and has been arrested for many violent
things. And that's what a lot of people are saying this morning. Well, Alec Baldwin and Trump, I mean, they're saying... people are saying they're both
bullies.
They're both out of their mind. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, how do we judge if this is going too far? I don't know.
And if something does happen, how do we know that it's a Trump supporter that
beat Baldwin up?
He has enough beefs that are out there for himself that it could just be someone who karma comes back and, tries to haunt him.
Let's see. George Bush, a Republican, had comedians make fun of him all the time. He recently said on a talk show he thought it was funny, and you can't have thin skin when you're the president. That's a really good point, Lynn, on Facebook. Thanks for joining us. That's a good point. You're the president. You have to expect that people are going to mock you. If that's what you even want to call it, or play you on SNL. I mean,
this can go back to the Republican leadership conference back in, I believe, 2012, when the guy named Reggie Brown was an Obama impersonator. And I mean, I watched about 8 minutes of it, and I'm like, some of this comedy is borderline
not
racist
funny,
in a way. It's not funny. So people have been mocked before.
Yep.
Presidents have been mocked
all
before
the time.
A lot. I just think when it comes to this president, he doesn't want to be. It's one thing if you're joking on him in a Howard Stern type way, and in the bro type manner. But now that you're president and people are coming at you, you kind of feel as though people should respect you a little bit more and not have this different types of satire where they continuously make fun of you and your policies.
Yep. Kimberly chiming in. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for always joining us. She says, just look at the pipe bomb attacks. Those were because of Trump would call out those people on Twitter. So I would think it would be a threat to Alec's safety.
Yeah.
So we are seeing people on both sides. DBL Nation, please keep sending us your comments. Lee Merrick on Facebook says, Trump all the way.
Hey,
there you go.
There you go.
Keep sending us your comments. I just don't know. I can see both sides of this, but I do think maybe Alec is overreacting a bit just because he wants to.
Has to.
Butt heads with Trump, but I think you're right. I mean, if something were to happen.
That's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Remember on the pipe bombs, he was on the list.
Yeah,
he was.
exactly.
Robert De Niro.
Yep.
The different people who were on that list. Luckily, the FBI did a great job and they apprehended the suspect.
Scary.
But just think if you saw your name there on the list, and then now you come out and you've done some sort of impersonation, and then you see a Trump tweet. Now you have to be worried about the threat and the concerns of your family.
No, you're right.
I mean, do you continuously play Trump now?
That's the question. Does he go and play again? I think he will. Ooh, I don't know, but should he?
If he does NBC as a network, you have to provide some sort of around-the-clock security for he and his
And that's
family.
the question. Is Alec Baldwin going to have more security now because he is fearful that something is going to happen? I don't know. Oh, DBL Nation Stephen Hill says, thank God it's Monday, guys.
Yeah, thank God.
Good way to look at it, Stephen. I really like your positivity.
Boy,
Let's see if we have any other comments coming in. If not, we'll move on to our next topic.
We got more right here.
Perfect.
MJ Matthews, because too many in Hollywood hate Trump. MJ Matthews, 100% agree. You're spot on. Taquero Mikel, nope. I'd rather ask Trump because he can do something about it. I don't know. Oh, and then it says Trump needs to stop crying. All presidents get made fun of.
Exactly. Yeah. All presidents get made fun of, and we haven't seen anyone else, any other presidents in the past freak out. And so I think Trump is just, I don't even know the word. A baby isn't what the word I'm looking for.
Or it could just be annoyed, Kelly. You know, sometimes it's like, and I like to play both sides of the fence from time to time. I appreciate you doing that, like, someone could be like, oh, Kelly, your hair is funny. Your hair's messed up. Your hair's
and eventually I might just
you're like, yo, dude,
snap.
Like, leave me alone. Like,
no, I get it. Why do you keep picking on me? Yeah.
And the dangerous part about it is if you tweet, hey, you're getting on my nerves, there needs to be some sort of retribution.
Yep.
You have a base that has shown that can act off of your tweets.
Which isn't great either. Which isn't good either. Yeah, I totally agree. Let's see. It looks like we have some more comments coming in. Washo Sandra on Facebook. Oh, this is all so ridiculous. SNL is right on. The more Trump tweets, the more he gives SNL material. That's exactly right.
I agree.
He's basically given them the material.
Agree.
They don't even have to spend time writing it at all. Thanks for writing in, Washo. We're going to go to our next topic now. Keep sending us your comments on that, though, because that is a story we're going to continue covering throughout the day. Another big story we're covering, Jussie Smollett. Chicago police are now saying they would like to interview him again. Over the weekend, sources came out saying the two brothers who were arrested that we were talking about on Friday, they reportedly said that Jussie Smollett paid them for the attack. Again, this is all alleged right now. We have nothing confirmed. I cannot stress that enough. Smollett has now hired a new attorney. His attorney said a possible sit-down with detectives could happen today, depending on scheduling availability. So I'm hoping that happens. I want to read exactly what the Chicago PD spokesman said, though. While we are not in a position to confirm, deny, or comment on the validity, thank you, Brandon, of what's been unofficially released, there are some developments in this investigation, and detectives have some follow-ups to complete, which include speaking to the individual who reported the incident. So that doesn't tell us anything, except that the investigation has changed a bit. That's all it tells us. That's it.
Doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good.
I agree with you, Brandon.
And, I feel like it's one of those moments where I needed to put my foot in the mouth because I did go on that rant. I was upset. But at the same time, you have to be able I thank God for a show like this where, you have to be able to come out and say, hey, I kind of overreacted. I kind of thought and said things too soon. Because not all of the facts were out at that time. All we had was the TMZ report to go by what was reportedly said. Yeah. And I know how I felt at that time, but I look at it like this. Because it goes to that Liam Neeson, yeah, you were right. The Liam Neeson thing where he's like, when the friend told him that he was raped, what did he do? He went around looking for a black bee because he wanted to go have a go with that person. Just think if someone, myself or anyone out there in the black community, white community, or LGBTQ community heard this about Jussie, the original report went out and went looking for a Magna bee or a MAGA bee or someone who says that sort of things, and something happens, your life has changed forever. And that's why we always need to wait for police reports. We need to be confirmed with different things because everything else is speculation then. Every comment we read, everything that comes up in our head, every conjecture that we have, it's all speculation.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. And for me as a journalist, we were having trouble reporting it last week because we had to just source all these other people. Yeah. But that's our job. We have to be transparent with you, and we have to still inform you whether we have confirmation or not. We still have to report that news and just keep saying allegedly, which we're going to continue to do today because this is still alleged. We don't know. It's not looking good, but we don't know. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves either, but let's say he is convicted of filing a false police report. He could spend 3 years in jail.
As he should.
As he should. If this comes out to be true, he should spend time in jail. I agree.
Because there's a real problem. There's a real epidemic when it comes to hate crimes against LGBTQ people, when it comes to black people. And now you're even seeing people who are wearing MAGA hats being attacked.
Yeah, and that's not okay either.
Yeah, that's not. Violence is never okay.
No.
Violence is, unless you really, like, there's something really wrong with you, violence is never okay.
Yeah.
But crying wolf, you know. What's this going to do for the next actor that comes out?
It's going to divide our country even more than we already are, and it's giving me chills because if this comes out to be true, it really is a bummer. Do you see any way that this couldn't be true? Do you see a way that the brothers could just be lying?
I could see them coming up with their own story. Obviously, you get pulled in as a person of interest. You're not arrested yet. You come up with your own story.
Right? I mean,
there's been shady things that Jesse has kind of done and not willingly done with at first not wanting to turn over police records, redacting, not police records, phone records, redacting, personally redacting phone record information. And I know you're saying, it could be protecting a celebrity, but then at the same time, it could be like you're trying to get rid of a tweet. You're trying to get rid of a text between you and the two guys, the co-conspirators. So right now, honestly, Kelly, I need to stay right there in the middle. Yep. I know I try and say
I think that's good.
Kind of have to stay right there in the middle. He's doubled down, getting a new lawyer.
Yep, a
new
lawyer.
So that's kind of saying, hey, you guys don't believe me. This is going to come out.
Well, then I'm going to get a new lawyer.
I'm going to get a new lawyer. Yep. But if this comes, his career, done.
I think what we have to hope for today is that he does sit down with police today.
Yes.
Because if he doesn't, it's just going to continue to look even worse. So hopefully his scheduling availability is open. So hopefully he sits down with them. I'm trying to go back in my mind and think if this is true, why? Why would he have done this, and why did he think this was a good idea?
Why? Is it
whether he was getting written off Empire or not, why would he think he would get away with this?
Could it go back to the tweets that he had out when he was saying Donald Trump should get his A kicked, or someone should go kick his butt, and then maybe, I don't know, remember the cartoon drawing, not the letter, but with the funky lettering cartoon and stuff?
Yep.
Was that staged now? You go back and you question every little piece of research you've done as a journalist, every little piece of research
it's very
I've read.
Disheartening.
You go back and you have to question everything.
Yep. We've got a lot of people writing in about this. Washo Sandra on Facebook says, I want to believe him, but not sure, and that is a real tragedy. It puts doubt in anyone, and then the real victims suffer.
Yes.
That's the biggest problem here. Let's see. What this whole Jussie Smollett thing is such a rabbit hole. I really hope this attack wasn't orchestrated by Jussie. That would be such a huge blow to the LGBTQ community. Exactly, Kimberly.
Yes.
That's how I'm really feeling.
Also, Shirley says, if this story is true, it really angers me that that people
that won't
be believed when their story is actually true. And that's what we're worried about, the little boy that cried wolf, because there are people out there who do get attacked, and when they come forward, the first thing people want to do is victim shame. Or look at this case. Just like, what are you doing at Subway at 2 a.m.? Subway's open 24 hours.
Yep.
What are you doing? It's cold, 50 degrees outside, negative 50. What are you doing walking? You know what I'm saying? Like, people kept questioning him automatically. And I think it was because people were saying, there were reports that he said that they were yelling MAGA things. So I think that's why that was the biggest blowback. I'm just going to come out and be honest with that. Because like he said in that interview, and there's things about that interview, had it been a Muslim or had it been a Mexican person, people wouldn't have even thought twice. They would have been like, oh, it's Chicago, black on black crime again. But I think he was under so much scrutiny because of the MAGA thing. So
and another thing that's interesting is Chicago PD police sources. We do see cases where they are high-profile cases, so sources and things do get leaked.
Yeah.
But this is kind of strange that so many allegations are coming out so fast. The brothers had just been questioned, and then their allegations are coming out, and the police sources are revealing those. I mean, that's interesting too. So we have to keep looking at both sides here, and just hope that this isn't true. But you're right; it's not looking good for him. But a lot of police departments. I mean, I'm not trying to accuse anyone. Nope. There's a lot of corruption in police departments as well, so we have to consider that. But let's just wait.
Chicago
we just have
PD
to wait,
and
it could be going to a grand jury, and if that happens, then that's what's going to happen. So we'll keep tracking this, DBL Nation, but it's been a long Monday already. Yes. A lot of big stories happening. We're going to continue to watch them, but we wanted to start your Monday off with a little inspiration from Heart Threads. This is a Mr. Rogers one, and it's a really good one.
Mr. Rogers.
Enjoy, everyone. Have a great week.
At this point, seizures, 100 seizures a day, friendships were very rare. When I said a friend's on the phone, she was like over the moon, and this friend ended up being Mr. Rogers.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine?
Whenever my mom and dad had to get ready for work or cook dinner, they would always send in my brother, and we would always watch Mr. Rogers. I felt like he was talking directly to me and nobody else.
Doctors can't tell what children are thinking and feeling by looking through their equipment or any other way. Only you know what you're thinking and feeling.
It was her 3rd week into kindergarten, and I received a phone call from the school principal. By the time I got into the nurse's office, I had never seen a seizure before, but she was reaching up to me with her left hand, but her entire right side was drooping. We went to the hospital. There was atrophy in her brain. For a couple of days she was okay, and then she had another seizure and another seizure. We realized that the left hemisphere was slowly shrinking. We would go from doctor to doctor and hospital to hospital, and nobody knew what was wrong with her.
When it got really bad, it was, 100 seizures a day? It was like being on a roller coaster and you can't get off.
You are my friend. You are special.
For some reason, for the entire half hour that Mr. Rogers was on the TV screen, I didn't have a seizure. I just found his voice comforting.
She would, at the end of every show, she would tell him, what?
I love you, Mr. Rogers.
She's getting worse and worse. And then one doctor finally said, there's this 1 in 10 million brain disease. It's extremely rare. There's no cure for it. Each day, her brain cells were dying. When we finally made the decision that the surgery was the only way that she was going to get any relief, I found the number to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, called and talked to the secretary, explained that she was going in for this horrendous surgery. I said, could he send her an autographed picture or maybe a note that she could take with her to the hospital? And I didn't expect for him to call. He called, and I said to Beth, there's a friend on the phone for you. And
I was over the moon. I told him things I would never tell my mom or my dad. Like, I told him about the surgery and how I thought I might die, and I didn't want to die because I didn't want to leave my brother. It was like talking to an old friend.
It was amazing, just that 1 hour, how much she talked to him. Not just Mr. Rogers himself, but King Friday,
Queen Sarah,
Lady Elaine, and I just remembered Daniel Striped Tiger ending the phone call and how he said he loved you and that you were going to be okay. That night, she went into a coma. They had no idea what caused it. I just remember praying, dear God, please let her come out of this. It was almost 2 months in a coma.
Mr. Rogers would call the hospital every day to check up on me, and when he found out I wasn't improving, he decided to make a trip.
And he said, I'd really like to come, but I'd like it to be between Beth and I don't want any press there. He flew from Pittsburgh to Baltimore, and he came and he sat by her bed. Every time I think about this, he gave Beth her own neighborhood show.
He left me all of his puppets because he didn't want me to be alone when I woke up.
It wasn't too long after that Bethy did wake up. When she woke up and we called Mr. Rogers, he said, praise God. And their friendship continued.
Every year he would call me on my birthday and we would talk for like an hour, and we would write each other a couple times a month.
We definitely, desperately need more people to be like him. And so many times we will say, what would
Fred do?
Just be kind. And everybody is worthy and lovable. Yep. Just the
way they are.